We have made it to our final project in our STEM unit. Now it's time for us to design a way to communicate with others. Use what we have learned about light and sound to design a communication device. We will be following the design process as you solve the problem like an engineer would. Let's review what the design process is.
Welcome to the engineering design process. In this presentation, you'll learn how engineers and designers use this step-by-step way to solve problems. Everyone runs into problems. Engineers are people who provide solutions. You can act like an engineer by using the design process to solve problems you have. As engineers use the design process, they work through steps which require them to ask, explore, model, evaluate, and explain their design. The first step in using a design process is ask. It's important to understand the problem before looking for a solution. Engineers also think about the information they need to know to be able to develop a solution. Once you've defined the problem, you are ready to explore. In this stage of the design process, engineers brainstorm or think of many different ways to solve a problem. The next step in the design process is model. It is now time to choose the best possible solution for the problem. Once you've settled on the best solution, it's time to build a model. But building a model is not enough. In the evaluate step, you will test your model to determine how well your idea solved or did not solve the problem. The explain step of the design process involves sharing your design and the results of your testing. In this step, you get to show how your model solves or doesn't solve the problem. It is important to understand that not every idea works or works perfectly. If your solution did not solve the problem, you get to ask, how can my model be improved? Engineers ask this question as they attempt to find the best solution. As they seek to improve their ideas, they continue to follow this step-by-step plan. Using an engineering design process provides a step-by-step way to solve design problems. As you develop a solution to problems in your life, use these steps to guide you. Ask, explore, model, evaluate, and explain.
Alrighty, so we are going to be going back and we're going to start with the first part of that design process that engineers use. And that first part is to ask, what was our problem? Think back to our story. Angelina, Milo, and Susie were in the woods. Do you remember what happened to them? They were lost. And so we had drawn a picture a long time ago showing what the problem was. And we wrote down, we need to communicate with the other group. So that is what we need to do. We need to communicate with the other group. So we have to think of some way we can design something so we can communicate with the other group that we're separated from. So you will be using page 14. It's a long slog page. And we're going to be exploring. That's the second step. After we've asked ourselves what the problem is, now we can go ahead and explore. So how can you try to solve the problem? Write or sketch your ideas below. So we're going to sketch some of our ideas. So what's some ways we can solve? I want you to think we have anything that was in Susie's backpack. So let me share some things that was in Susie's backpack. She had her backpack, comfortable walking shoes, a rain jacket, a metal water bottle. She has a bandana. She had some snacks. She has a flashlight, a mirror, masking tape, a tennis ball, and string. So these are the materials that were available to the three friends. I want you to think of some ways we might be able to make or something we could design to solve our problem. How can we communicate? And you are going to sketch your ideas here. So I'm going to type those options, those ideas of things you could use to try to communicate with another group. So she has her backpack, They have shoes. They have a rain jacket, a metal water bottle, a bandana, she has some snacks, flashlight, mirror, tape, tennis ball, and string. So how could you use any of these things to either make a noise or make sound, or use it for light? Because that's what we've been learning about, is using light and sound. And how can we use light and sound to communicate? So I want you to think of some ways we might be able to use light or sound to communicate through the forest. You go ahead and you draw your idea over here using any of these available materials, because this is what you have in the woods. You don't have anything else. So you think about how you can use these and you draw your picture over here. When you're all done, you can put it into Seesaw.